Hello. In this video, we will continue using our position and time data and the graph we created to analyze that data to pull some information so that we don't have to do it by hand. To begin with, we'll have our graph selected, which brings up this chart editor in the right side. In our previous video, we looked mainly at the setup portion of the chart editor to ensure that our axis labels and our chart title was correct. This time we're going to look under the Customize section. Here you'll see a number of options. We are going to choose Series, the third down, and we're going to scroll down in this section until we see Trend Line, and then we will click it. Notice on the graph that a line has appeared on our graph. There can be a number of different trend lines depending on the kind of data you have. So it is best to make sure that you choose a trend line that matches the kind of data you have. Trend lines can be linear, they can be exponential, logarithmic, or other ways. Since our data looks like it's more or less in a linear fashion, more or less a straight line, our type we will leave as linear, though we could choose others depending on how it might have looked. You also have the option of changing the color, which we can choose to kind of make it stand out a little bit better. Here, at the bottom of this section where it says Label, we are going to click here and choose Use Equation. And notice at the top here of our graph, it has inserted an equation that we then can use further down, even though we only have the data we have. This is a slope function. We also want to know how well this data predict data down the road. To do this, under the label and where we chose use equation, we will click show R squared. And it has now also added an R squared value to our equation. Now, where the equation we can use to get actual numbers based on information we might have. The R squared value is a way for us to know how well our data and our trend line will predict any of that future information. The closer an R squared value is to 0, the less it shows how well that model predicts. The closer it is to 1, the better it shows how well it will predict. Using this information, we can extend beyond the data that we actually collected to see what it might change or how it will act as we would progress in terms of time and or position. And using the R squared value, be able to make some claims based on that information.